Imagine stepping into the embrace of nature's majesty, a place of breathtaking beauty, towering granite, ancient forests, and the whisper of the wind through endless pines. Now imagine that same embrace transforming into a hungry void, a place where the earth itself seems to swallow people whole, not a trace, not a single solitary clue. Tonight, we journey into the heart of Yosemite National Park, a name synonymous with grandeur. But beneath its pristine facade, a chilling secret lurks. A secret that has baffled even the most experienced investigators of the unexplained. The very same investigator who brought the missing 411 phenomenon to light, David Paulides himself. What he encountered in the search for a vanished body hunter defies all logic. Prepare yourselves, for the shadows of Yosemite conceal a truth far stranger than fiction. Our story begins in the vast, untamed wilderness of Yosemite National Park, a park renowned for its stunning landscapes, but also, as we've seen on this channel, for its disturbing number of unsolved disappearances. The specific case we delve into tonight, while not as widely publicized as some others, carries a unique weight. It involves an individual intimately familiar with the grim realities of missing persons cases, a volunteer cadaver dog handler, someone who typically finds what others cannot. The individual in question was not the subject of the disappearance, but rather a key figure in a search for someone else who had vanished without a trace. Their name remains undisclosed in most public records, a deliberate choice by David Paulides to protect their privacy, as their experience was, to put it mildly, deeply disturbing. This incident occurred during a search operation for a missing person, a male hiker, within Yosemite's sprawling and notoriously challenging terrain. The exact date is not publicly specified by Paulides, but the event took place during one of his investigations into the missing 411 phenomenon, placing it roughly within the last 2 decades. Paulides, known for his methodical approach to these strange occurrences, recounted this particular incident in his presentations, always emphasizing the inexplicable elements. The volunteer, a highly experienced canine handler, was part of an organized search party combing a particularly rugged and isolated section of the park. Their dog, trained to detect human remains, was working diligently. What happened next, as recounted by Paulides, is where the story takes a sharp turn into the bizarre. As the canine handler moved through the dense undergrowth, their dog, usually meticulous and focused, suddenly displayed an extreme change in behavior. It became agitated, whimpering, and pulling back, its tail tucked between its legs, classic signs of fear. It refused to proceed. As Paulides himself described it, the dog acted as if it was facing something invisible and threatening, refusing to go forward. The handler, trying to understand what was alarming their usually fearless companion, looked around. There was nothing visible. No animal, no person, no obvious threat. Yet, the dog was terrified. Then, the handler themselves experienced something genuinely unsettling. A commanding, overwhelming sense of being watched. A feeling of intense dread washed over them, as if an unseen presence was scrutinizing their every move. The air grew heavy, thick with unexplainable tension. This wasn't the natural quiet of the wilderness. It was an oppressive silence, broken only by the frantic whimpers of their dog. The canine handler, unnerved but determined, attempted to coax their dog forward. It was no use. The animal was paralyzed by fear. Sensing the unexplainable intensity of the situation, the handler made the difficult decision to withdraw from that specific area, noting its coordinates. Later, after regaining composure and discussing the experience with others, they attempted to return to the location with backup. What they found, or rather didn't find, was another layer to this perplexing puzzle. Despite meticulous efforts, using GPS and landmarks, The canine handler could not locate the exact spot where they had experienced the compelling dread and their dog's intense fear. The terrain seemed to have shifted, or perhaps their perception of it had been strangely altered in that moment of terror. It was as if the precise coordinates of that chilling encounter had been erased. The area, though part of a broader search grid, remained a void, an unmappable point of anomalous experience. This absence of a definable location, this inability to return to the exact point of the strange encounter, perfectly aligns with the no-trace phenomenon. Not only was the missing hiker they sought never found, but the very place where a searcher experienced something truly alien also vanished into the park's inscrutable depths. This incident, though personal to the canine handler, holds significant weight in the no-trace phenomenon. Why? Because it introduces the element of an active, unseen presence within these wilderness vanishings. It wasn't just a lost hiker. It was an encounter with something profoundly other. The dog's extreme fear, unprovoked by any visible stimulus, points to something beyond the natural world. Animals, particularly highly trained working dogs, possess senses far keener than ours. They often react to stimuli we cannot perceive. What did that dog sense? What unseen entity cast such a palpable pall of fear? Paul Leeds, in recounting this experience, highlights several key anomalies. The unseen catalyst, the complete absence of any visible trigger for the dog's terror. This suggests a non-physical or undetectable presence. The emotional overwhelm, the canine handler's intense sense of dread and being watched, a sensation so powerful it forced a retreat. This isn't just a spooky feeling. It's an almost psychic assault. The vanishing coordinates, the inability to return to the exact spot. This is perhaps the most inexplicable detail. Was it disorientation caused by fear, or did the very fabric of reality at that location subtly shift or become inaccessible? This case, while not about a person vanishing directly in a no-trace manner, offers a chilling glimpse into the mechanism behind such disappearances. It suggests that these wilderness areas are not merely passive landscapes where people get lost. Instead, they might be places where a veil between our world and something else is thin. Places where something ancient, perhaps malevolent, resides. An entity capable of inducing overwhelming fear, affecting animal behavior, and even distorting perception or location itself. This aligns with many other missing 411 cases where survivors report strange sensations, missing time, or a distinct feeling of being unwelcome before finding their way back. So, what could explain such a disturbing and inexplicable encounter? As with all no-trace phenomena, definitive answers remain elusive, but theories abound, each more unsettling than the last. 1. Extreme psychological stress and environmental factors. One common explanation for strange experiences in the wilderness is the immense psychological pressure of a search, combined with the isolating and often disorienting effects of vast natural spaces. Could the canine handler's fear and disorientation have been a result of extreme stress, leading to a distorted perception of their surroundings? This is a logical starting point, but it struggles to account for the highly trained dog's identical reaction. 2. Unknown animal or cryptid encounter. Could there have been an animal, perhaps a large predator or even an unknown cryptid, whose presence genuinely terrified the dog and instilled an instinctual fear in the handler? While possible, the unseen nature of the threat and the inability to locate the spot afterwards make this less likely, unless the creature itself possessed some anomalous quality. 3. Infrasound phenomena. Some speculate about the role of infrasound, low-frequency sound waves inaudible to humans but felt as a sensation of pressure or dread. These can be generated by natural phenomena like wind, seismic activity, or even large animals. Could an infrasound anomaly have been responsible for the sudden onset of terror? While intriguing, it doesn't fully explain the being watched sensation or the disappearing coordinates. 4. Paranormal or interdimensional activity. And then, we step into the realm of the truly inexplicable. David Paulides himself, while rarely offering direct conclusions, hints at something beyond our current understanding. Could the canine handler have stumbled upon an area where the veil between dimensions is thin? A place where unseen entities reside, perhaps even feeding on fear, capable of distorting space and time? The no-trace aspect, the complete lack of physical evidence, often points to a non-physical agency. Could this encounter have been a direct interaction with whatever force is behind these vanishings? These are not easy questions, and the answers remain shrouded in the deep, silent forests of Yosemite. The bizarre experience of the canine handler in Yosemite is a chilling testament to the persistent mystery of the no-trace phenomenon. It is a case that reminds us that these disappearances aren't always about simple accidents or misdirection. Sometimes they hint at something far more profound, far more unsettling, hidden within the heart of our most beloved wilderness areas. Something that can instill primal fear, distort reality, and leave no clue behind. What did that dog sense? What unseen force cast its shadow over the canine handler? Was it a warning? A territorial claim? Or merely a glimpse into a terrifying truth about certain locations in our world? The silence of the wilderness can be deafening, and in cases like this, that silence is filled not with peace, but with unanswered questions echoing through the shadowed valleys of Yosemite. We present these stories not to provide answers, but to open your minds to the possibilities, to the compelling, unsettling mysteries that defy explanation. What are your theories? Have you ever felt an unexplainable presence in the wilderness? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And remember, when you venture into the wild, the trees have eyes. And sometimes the forest watches back.